Everyone's talking about Michael Burry, the big short guy telling everyone to sell. That's today. Uh, so anyway, moving on. John Wake on Twitter here. Um, I thought this was interesting. I tend to agree with this. I wonder what you think. It says the U.S. is a mortgage ownership society, not a home ownership society. That's very strong words, fighting words coming right out. It says the U.S. has the third lowest free and clear home ownership rates of these 28 countries, according to the OECD. Okay, the third lowest. All right. So let's talk about this. My grandparents, born in the 30s, 1930s, born during the Great Recession. They're actually born in the 20s. I'm sorry. Had nothing. When they ended up buying homes, they were like $10,000. My grandpa paid $10,000 for a home that I live in this neighborhood right now, and the same home that he lived in would sell for over $330,000 right now. Okay. Now, that was still a lot of money then. Okay. But they paid they both of my grandparents paid their mortgages off. They had no money outstanding on their homes. And it was that way for years. Why? They felt like in their later years, why should they be making house payments? Like it seemed like they should be using their money for things like food and medical expenses. That was their thinking. Today, I met a guy that was 90 years old, and he's like, I don't think I can get a mortgage because of my age. I was like, they cannot keep you from getting a mortgage based on your age. What do you want to buy? I mean, your grandparents or your grandkids may hate you because that you gave them a house with a mortgage, but anyway, so that's to me is true. Nobody I know talks about paying off their house anymore. When I mean, it just doesn't happen. It says with the same monthly P&I principal and interest mortgage payment, you could borrow more than twice as much money to buy a house in 2020 compared to 1990. Okay, so what does that mean? With the same monthly P&I, you could borrow more than twice as much money to buy a house in 2020 compared to 1990. So let's just do the numbers. So if you had a $300,000 house in 1990, you could buy a $600,000 house in 2020. It says although house prices appreciated 200%, monthly P&I payments only increased 41% due to the lowest interest rate. This suggests that if interest rates hadn't fallen, but the P&I mortgage payment price stayed the same, the house prices would have only increased around 40% from January 1990 to December 2020. The rest of the 200% increase in house values was due to falling interest rates. Ding, 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 bingo. This is the way I see the world. It says this quick analysis suggests that as much as 80% of the home price appreciation from 1990 to 2020 was due to falling interest rates. Government policies should shift to promoting free and clear home ownership instead of promoting mortgage ownership at all costs and assuming home ownership is a magic wand of wealth creation. This is spot on 100%. Okay? Why wouldn't you want to pay off your mortgage? It's because you feel like it's cheaper to not. This was me a long time ago. I was looking up like a $150,000 house. And when I looked at the combined mortgage and interest payments on that 30 years at paying just the minimum, it was like a $356,000 house I was paying. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. So it says here's two ideas. Step one, government-backed mortgages should be redesigned to maximize family wealth creation in a lower house price appreciation environment. If we don't, we could see family wealth creation tank and a retirement crisis in 30 years or less. Oh, you've got a retirement crisis. It's done. It's done coming. You don't have to worry about that. Everything financially has been blown up in my lifetime. Okay. I mean, not good. This is the last tweet for tonight from TitleCap. This is the first one I've ever read from them. It says, and this was interesting, and I wanted you to know about it. It says CoStar will likely burn close to $1 billion over the next 4 years to organically build its residential listing efforts to 100 million uniques. Buying move/realtor.com for $3 billion eliminates a lot of that spend, which doesn't make any sense because $1 billion instead of $3 billion, and de-risks the path to a scaled residential listings marketplace. CoStar has been clear that it does not want to monetize a resi portal via leads to buyer agents, a la Zillow, but rather monetizing listing visibility as it does with apartments.com. Buying realtor.com's 93 million monthly uniques is a good start on that front. Now, so just so you know, like for Zillow, okay, all the consumers go to Zillow, but agents pay for leads to get Zillow leads, basically. And it used to be like per zip code you'd pay so much, and now it's changed to they take a percentage of your commission for that lead if it closes, which is garbage. But think about that. Apartments.com, you pay to be on. If you're an apartment complex, you pay to be on apartments.com. You do not pay to be on Realtor.com if your home is listed with a real estate agent. So keep that in mind. It says a large resi listings marketplace also accelerates the build out of a resi data offering, just as apartments.com augmented CoStar's multifamily data offering. CoStar is very interested in resi data. Remember, $6.9 billion core logic bid. Look, I don't know how to put this. CoStar is a behemoth, let's put it that way, in the marketplace. It's amazing to me that they're able to do what they're able to do in the commercial space. They are by far a monopoly. It says CoStar is pursuing these M&A discussions at an opportune time. Number one, News Corp has an activist pushing for separation move at 1.8 billion. The residential real estate market is depressed right now. And three, competitively, CoStar has been clear they are going to spend a ton to compete against Move and Zillow. Net Move seems to be like a very strategic acquisition at an attractive price. 4 times the sales that reported 3.3 billion price, particularly if CoStar thinks its resi business can get into the 40% EBITDA margins that its commercial business currently operates. I doubt it. Okay, I doubt it just because the way it's set up. Okay. But there's a catch, and this is a big catch, and this is the first people to really go over it that I've seen. It says Move licenses the right to operate Realtor.com from the National Association of Realtors and is subject to an operating agreement. That contract may be too restrictive for CoStar to accept. You're damn right it's going to be too restrictive for them to accept. Effectively, the National Association of Realtors seeks to protect its members, which means not allowing Realtor.com to do things that would create competitive pressures for agents. That's right. That's right. As an example, Realtor.com can't show for sale by owners listings. That's right. Well, why should you? If it's, I mean, why are we putting free listings out there? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, the part of the reason why you use a realtor is you have the ability to have a bunch of listings shown everywhere. Further, the Realtor.com operating agreement states that Realtor.com cannot charge for distribution of basic listing information. That could make it challenging to monetize the promoted listings that are a key part of the CoStar playbook. Historically, there's been a small royalty payment from Move to National Association of Realtors for the use of Realtor.com trademark. The National Association of Realtors may want more. Yeah, I mean, if you're a $3 billion offer, I think the National Association of Realtors should get some of that money. Bloomberg report suggests the National Association of Realtors might be using this potential deal, changing controls and opportunity to amend its terms in its favor. It should. Our deal is so stupid. I mean, other than Zillow, there is no place to look at listings online right now. It's Zillow and Realtor.com. Everything else is either owned by Zillow. So Trulia, and then there's like Homes.com, but I think that they bought. I think CoStar already owns Homes.com. So it says, I'm not, and don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize. So it's possible the three parties ultimately can't come to an agreement, but CoStar's negotiation from a position of strength. And so if it does, in fact, get it done, it's probably on CoStar's terms and should set CoStar up for success in Resi. This is not true. The National Association of Realtors can really, really, really put the screws to anyone. Overnight, number one, overnight becomes a number two player. Do it at a good price, avoid cash burn and a risk of organic resi build, accelerate residential data effort. Well, I mean, they are right. If you could buy a sure thing like Realtor.com versus trying to build that out, it's 100% right. It says then it shows the original amendments to the agreement. I was uncomfortable when Fox ended up buying the Realtor.com name website. I was very uncomfortable with that, and I'm uncomfortable with CoStar buying it because I've seen what they've done in the commercial market, and I don't think it's brilliant, and I don't think it's great. So